Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, a.k.a. PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions, the worlds of pop culture, social media, sports, everything really, hockey included. As always, I'm your host, Peter Remoliotis. On Twitter, you know me as PD Beats. September and October is right around the corner. That means training camp. That means exhibition. That means regular season. Hockey is back very soon. And we're speaking to a forward who plays in the WHL, the Western Hockey League. He plays for the Kelowna Rockets. We are speaking to Nolan Foote. Nolan, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. First off, a lot of people are familiar with you and your hockey family. Your father was Adam Foote. A lot of people call him, a legend, like an amazing defenseman. Your brother Cal is a Tampa Bay Lightning prospect and a defenseman, and you're a forward. So my question is, did you kind of feel pressure to play D growing up, or did you always know you wanted to be a forward?
It was difficult. I mean, I saw my dad playing, and he was a defenseman. Growing up, Cal was actually a forward, and I don't know, he just wanted to play D, and I remember him telling me one day, like, go score goals, like, just go play forward, and that was something cool because he's 2 years older. He's giving me advice, so I fell in love with being a forward, and I wanted to score goals. I wanted to be up in the play, and that's what I did. It was awesome.
No, absolutely. Obviously, a lot of players you ask, when was the first, when did you kind of decide that you wanted to do hockey for a living? I'm sure it was at a very young age, but was there a specific level of hockey where you started to take it a lot more seriously?
I think just growing up watching my dad play. My mom took Cal and I to almost all Avalanche home games, and to be able to go in the locker rooms and be around amazing hockey players, amazing guys, and to learn the game and be in that environment, I thought that it was very special, and that's when I knew that I wanted to become a hockey player. And just to have my dad there to give me advice growing up, it was just something special.
You mentioned some of that advice. What specifically has he been able to give you that you took, to Kelowna or representing Canada on the international stage? Because your dad has had success representing Canada on the international stage as well. However, the game has changed a lot since he's played. So what advice has he given you in regards to that change the evolution of the game?
Well, exactly. Like when he played, it was a lot more vicious, Like there weren't the rules that there are now. And to Cal and I, he just gave us advice, how to play. I mean, we had the opportunity to have a rink in our backyard growing up. So we had the chance to shoot pucks every day. Whenever he got home from practice or whatever it was, a road trip, he was there to help us shoot pucks, like teach us the game. And not only that he was a defenseman, but he loved teaching me forward stuff. He loved teaching me how to score, and it was just awesome. It was awesome how growing up in the Pee Wee ages, Bantam, the switch from hitting, like he taught us how to receive hits, take hits, and it was cool because just coming from him, it was awesome.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about yourself in Kelowna for a little bit. Kelowna Rockets is a organization that has not had a shortage of scoring in the past. Guys like Leon Draisaitl, Rourke Chartier have played, and now Nolan Foote. Talk a little bit about what it's like in that locker room last year. What are you kind of expecting this year in terms of changes, and what are some of the goals for Nolan Foote in the WHL with Kelowna this year?
Yeah, well, it's definitely going to be a big change. I mean, we have a lot of younger players coming up. We're going to be losing Dubé, Lynn, Cal, and it's going to be interesting. Our 99 group and our 2000s, 98s, we're definitely have to step up in our leadership and take on the role with the younger guys, teach them the ways. And for me, that's huge. I want to be a team leader, hopefully, and be in the discussion. I want to teach the guys growing up, whoever's on my line or whatever it is, give them advice, let them know what's up, and just to be there for them. It's going to be challenging. We don't know how we're going to look, so when training camp comes around, we'll see, and however we are, we're just going to try and do our system as well as we can, and Kelowna always seems to be okay. Last year, we thought we weren't going to be a team that would win the division, but we ended up winning the division. So you never know. And with the growth in Kelowna, all the defense in the NHL, I think there's a great chance that the young guys will develop fast.
Absolutely. It's going to be a big year for Nolan Foote. You mentioned it a little bit in terms of, there's going to be not necessarily pressure, but there's going to be kind of expectations that you're going to be a player that's going to step it up this season, have a bigger role up front this season with a lot of guys like Dubé leaving. But it's also a big year because it is your NHL Draft year. That's something that I feel like is very exciting but overwhelming because, you're focusing on the task at hand in a WHL with Kelowna, but that's always going to be in the back of your mind. How are you kind of preparing yourself to kind of balance that and kind of block all the NHL Draft hype as you go? But at the same time, it's kind of good to keep it as a little bit of motivation and something to kind of motivate you and maybe like excel your game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, I try not to pay attention to whatever the analysis are saying. It always comes around, but it's their thought. For me, I just try and work my hardest, work my way up in the rank, and wherever you go. To be in Kelowna, I definitely have to step it up with those top guys leaving. When all three of them left for World Juniors, I took the role to play center in Dubé's spot, and it was challenging at first because I hadn't played center in 2 years. It was definitely, you'd spend more time in the D zone before you go to offense. It was more tiring. You had to get used to it, and I didn't mind it. It was awesome. I liked the challenge. I liked taking it on. So yeah.
Who is Nolan Foote on the ice, and who is Nolan Foote off the ice?
On and off the ice, I'm a kind person. Maybe not on the ice.
I was about to say, no chance you're getting away with that, man.
I do have a little bit of Adam.
As if you just said that.
I do have a little bit of Adam in me. I think both Cal and I do, and that's a good thing for sure. I think I'm a leader. I think I'm a good guy to everyone. I try to help out, be there for the younger, the O2s, the guys coming up that will be star players for Kelowna in the next couple of years, and hopefully Kelowna gets the 2020 Mem Cup bid, and if we do, that's just going to be really important to help out those O1s and those younger guys because they're going to need to step up, and so all us older guys because it would be a huge year.
You mentioned when Dylan Dubé and your brother left for the World Juniors. But what was it like when they came back? Winning the gold medal. Did you see an instant impact and kind of swagger and confidence from them when they came back in the locker room?
Yeah. Cal, being my brother, I definitely saw that he stepped up his game. He was scoring way more, and he was just playing with a lot more confidence. And so was Dubé. And it had a really good impact on our team because that's exactly what we needed. And it was awesome. We ended up taking the division title, so that was awesome. For sure.
I mentioned a little bit. You mentioned, playing winger, but also trying to play center as well. The game is kind of evolving where Actually, I wouldn't say evolving. I mean, centers were always important, but are you kind of seeing that where the NHL is kind of going with the elite centers in the game, that's kind of a position that's getting a lot of attention more than usual these couple of years?
Yeah, I definitely think so. You see it in all of the drafts. I enjoy playing center. Wherever Kelowna, the coaches put me this year, I'm happy to play. Like, I'll play left wing, I'll play center. I'm fine with both. I feel comfortable with both. So I definitely think that if you're a centerman, you have to be a very good defensive player, and you have to contribute to offense as well.
Like your father and like your brother, you're not a small guy. You're a big guy. You know what I mean? That's something that NHL seems to. I would not say be obsessed with size, but size always seems to be a big factor. You know what I mean? But if size is just there and maybe not used, maybe that doesn't become as much of a attribute for Excel. Do you see yourself as someone that wants to always take advantage of his size? Because that's an interesting debate. You know what I mean? There's some people that are just bigger. Maybe their style of game isn't as gritty or rough, and they don't use their size as much. But I know Cal and your brother use your size, and you do as well. Do you kind of take pride in that?
Yeah. I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, growing up, my dad, he taught us how to use our body, how to defend guys off and escape. And Cal's about 6'5", I'm 6'3". I think that it's a perfect height. I mean, there's players that are small and still gritty, and I've seen it before, but I mean, now in the NHL, there's so much more skill and so much more talent wherever you play, any league, that size is important. I mean, if you are a big power forward, it is very important to have that skill, because if you want to step your game up and go to the next level, I think that you have to be very talented.
Mm-hmm. I see the Foote Team Canada jersey in the background. We mentioned you got a chance to represent Canada U17s, also Ivan Alinka. Is there anything like wearing the Maple Leaf, Nolan? I don't think there's anything that can top it.
No, it's the best feeling. I've had the opportunity to wear it at U17 and U18, and it's awesome. It's such a good feeling when both your parents are from Canada, and I have dual citizenship. So, I mean, it was a tough decision to choose whether I was going to play for Canada or U.S., but I want to go the path of my dad. My dad went and Cal chose, and playing Kelowna, I said to myself, might as well put on this Maple Leaf, and it was one of the best decisions of my life, because I met amazing people, and it's just such a great hockey community, and there's amazing players and coaches. I thought it was a great decision.
So what was it like being brought up in Colorado and being around, your dad and the whole Colorado Avalanche, like the locker room and everything? You mentioned it a little bit, going to every home game, but what were kind of some cool moments, some things you learned maybe from other players, not just your dad, that you got to be around? Like, talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. Well, growing up, always around Christmas time, we got the opportunity to go out on family skates at the Pepsi Center, or when I lived in Columbus, the Nationwide Arena, and it was awesome. I mean, each year there's new players, and there's fun moments like Matt Hendricks putting me in a garbage can. Just fun stuff like that. and I'll never forget it, because it was just so cool. But being able to go in the locker room, being around Joe Sakic, his son's one of my best friends, and just seeing all these unbelievable athletes, it was unreal. And to be able to go to every home game and experience that, it's just unforgettable.
No, absolutely. Well, Nolan, I think we'll wrap up, but thank you so much for joining me on Pop Tournament, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Where could people follow you on social media and keep up to date with everything going on in Kelowna?
My Instagram's just Nolan Foote. I have a Twitter, but I check Twitter probably once a month. I don't really use it. Basically just my Instagram. Yeah, I don't really use a lot of social media.
Okay, for sure. Well, thank you so much, and wish you all the best in the beginning of the year. The whole year. Wish you all the best in WHL with Kelowna, and all the best for your draft year, man. It's going to be awesome. Enjoy all of it.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No problem. Well, this has been Popternative. You can catch previous episodes of Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for the video versions. A lot of hockey interviews there as well. And then for audio, you can go to iTunes, Spotify, wherever you listen to podcasts. That's where we are. Till next time, this is Nolan Foote and Peter Beat. Sign it off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.